After creating the element of art shape tutorial last time, we are going to now expand the shape. It's going to be the first of the design tutorials, and it's going to be about shape language. So going from shape, just how to draw it, into shape language, how are shapes used. This is a very typical topic in concept art when you're creating characters. All revolves around the emotions that different shapes inherently give you. So we're gonna have a bunch of lessons about circles, squares and triangles, how they evoke different emotions, and then we're gonna be combining them, seeing where all of this comes from. A little bit of breaking the rules as well. So let's just get started on it, and we'll see you in the next week. Alright, so I'm really happy with how the lessons have turned out so far. Inside of our trusty drawing app, we have a new tutorial on shape language. I just went into the first one of the circle. I just started with this one because this was the hardest one of the lessons to do, and then all of the other ones will sort of follow in its turn. So it's an example of how circle shape language is used in popular video games. So the way I imagine this will work is that you get to choose a game that you want to learn from. So here we have Super Mario Bros. 2, Kirby's Dream Land 2, and Dragon Warrior, later known as Dragon Quest. And so yeah, let's say that we do Super Mario Bros. Pull it out, and it explains Mario's friendly cartoony design achieved with the circle shape language aligns closely with Nintendo's positioning of gaming as a family activity. So because the circle language is often used to design protagonists and friendly, cute characters, yeah, Nintendo definitely has this vibe of making the games for the whole family. So this kind of character design will be very well fitting. And here I also made it, there's a new feature. You can click again on the shape and you can get a filled variant. So this will be a little bit faster if we do it like this with the filled variants. Just fill in those legs and the body for Mario, and there you go. And here we get another quote. I want you to be able to learn something from the design process. So characters designer Shigeru Miyamoto described Mario as, I think one of the appeals of Mario is that he's such an easy character to understand. He's a good guy. He's the guy you want to be. The shape language, not all good guys need to be this friendly circle shape language, because you could have somebody with triangle, like a speedy character, as we'll see in some other examples. But definitely circles lend very well to somebody that wants to be very likable. So here, for the final step, observe how everything is drawn with curves. So yeah, especially if you look at here, all Mario, there's not a single straight line. Maybe this one for the teeth now that I look at it. But everything Mario is just curves everywhere. And they have translated this into pixel art quite well. For example, here's the little hands. It's another little small sphere. We could have even filled it in like this. And for those of you who didn't know that you can actually, in these exercises, when you have multiple sprites to choose from, you can actually go do other ones. And in this tutorial, I actually teach you that. Choose another reference to learn more or return to the portfolio. So, you know, the thing is done, you could go back, go to the next lesson. But if you want to learn more, there's, you know, 2 more references to choose from. So for example, Dragon Warrior, and now it switches. So we can put this one even back. It switches to the Dragon Quest design and instructions. Also, the colors automatically get added. So if I put this in, they go away. So you get the colors that you need. This is the little slime creature, so it gives you a little bit of, you know, it tells you who the creators were. I didn't know that. Slimes were designed by the creator of Dragon Ball. And he just designed all of this cutesy characters. Not all of them, but a lot of them have this interesting, very different style than what you would find in a Western RPG at the time. Very cool. There you have it. And this goes on. Of course, you can do this one as well. So circle 2 is now complete, and now we'll complete the rest as well. Square 2, triangle 2, and then the introductory circle, square, triangle in front of those. All right, let's keep going, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, this was a really good sprint. Look at this. All the the tasks are done: high, medium, low. I've done everything. I even added new tasks. The shape language tutorial now starts with a lesson about how shapes in nature appear, because this is where we sort of get used to just why do different shapes have a different meaning. So circles are friendly, for example, because a lot of things in nature are also circular that are good for us. So for example, here we have an orange, and also check this out. I made it so that that indicator reflects the color. So here we have a little orange and a little animal. Here's a little baby kitten sleeping, until we go on to the squares. Squares, oftentimes it's some sort of like rock formations, shapes that give us feeling of stability, something strong. And then finally we have good old triangles. These are the more dangerous, dynamic kind, because a lot of animals and plants have fangs and horns, stuff like that. There's spikes, and after you're done drawing all of them, you even get a little description of each different emotions and adjectives these shapes are usually associated with, as we have sort of learned them from nature. And then all of these emotions are then further applied to things that we design. Here we analyze first shapes a little bit from their geometric properties. So for example, circles, they don't have any ups and downs, there's no sides. Even in sort of culturally can indicate stuff like friendship and unity and family. You know, you might be sitting around a circle on a campfire. So both nature and just culture gives this meaning to shapes. And that's how we can use that shape language when designing characters. We've already shown this one last week, but look at this thing now. Now the cartridges are actually the correct size that they are supposed to be. And I've even made it so that, see how the shadow is being drawn as you pick things up. I've changed this, how references are handled. So I really like this. It's very tactile. So yeah, hopefully you will enjoy drawing the rest of the sprites here. And now off from the circle, we of course go to squares. Squares, like we said, very reliable building blocks. And you know, you could have buildings, they give us shelter. It could be a surface for a table. So it's more of a serious functional shape. And then when we have them like vertical, when it looks like it's towering over us, it also appears sort of mighty, like a knight. But it could also be inflexible, like skyscraper, really withstanding all the pressure. So these adjectives aren't always positive, because you could, yeah, it could also be a stubborn character, and maybe if you're stubborn, that's not always a good thing. Examples for squares from video games. We have 3 video games. We have Metal Slug, First Mission, and that's on Neo Geo Pocket. Then we have Advance Force. I actually had this cartridge on the Game Boy. And then the Legend of Zelda DX from Game Boy. But let's do Advance Force, because I love that game. Here's the medium tank. It's a very sturdy unit. It's the one you would be hardest to defeat. Pretty much just squares, and then we can delete this out. Just gonna cheat. And I'll let you discover these on your own. As we go into triangle. Now triangles are very versatile depending on which direction they're turned on. So when we have them going upright, they feel very balanced and even divine, like pyramids and sort of religious connotations. When they're tilted to the side, when they're pointing somewhere, they feel dynamic, they show direction, they have movement. And then finally we have these inverted triangles, the down one where this one feel powerful, but also because they're sort of balancing on this tip, they can also feel like unbalanced or unpredictable. You never know which side they will go onto. Examples of triangles in the design of characters. We have Day of the Tentacle, that's an obvious one here. We have a dragon from Dragon Warrior. There's also in here hiding a Pokemon sprite. If you put more of them down, of course you will get, you can draw all of them if you want. Here's just a little preview of the shapes that they use. Let me complete the Pokemon one with my quick cheating abilities. There you go. Couldn't have more triangles in this character. And now that we have observed all of the 3 main shapes, we can also combine them, because often enough the characters are a little bit more multi-dimensional, or sometimes you just want to have multiple shapes for interest. So for example, here from Mega Man, we have Woodman. It's a good example because it's such a fighting character. So it's, you know, it's a boss, but it's also the character protects nature. So, and like wood, both a tree trunk, you know, it's a square if you look at it straight on, but it's also an ellipse when you're looking at it on the angle. And the same, it's like wood is sturdy in a way, but like if you have an axe or something or fire, it's a little bit easier to defeat. So both a combination of circles, good for representing nature, and a little bit more square for this sort of unrelenting character, which it is trying to protect nature. And here we have it. For the final lesson, we go into, sometimes you want to break the rules a little bit. It's not always that a villain is going to be triangular or that a square character is going to be stoic. Here's a couple of more examples. I'm going to leave these for you to explore. Well, good old floppy disks. And that's a little preview of the content in this update. I hope you will enjoy drawing these sprites a little bit more meditative. If you just want to draw, a lot of you have been drawing all of the copy sprites in that challenge, so I felt like, yeah, maybe you will enjoy learning like this as well, and the text will give you a little bit of a food for thought of how these characters were designed. And then in the future, you can, as you see character designs, you can observe and start noticing these kind of things. Thank you so much for following this project along, and I will see you in the next update.